The Nifty are up about 0.5%. The mid-cap index, though, is still under pressure, down almost 140 points. But the stocks that are reacting on the upside are some of the technology names, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, etc. Andrew Holland is joining in. He's the CEO at Avendus Alternate Strategies. He's joining us on the show. Andrew, good morning. How are you feeling about the macro situation now? The inflation numbers are a bit sticky. In fact, there's an expectation of another 25 basis points rate hike on the 6th April RBI policy. What do you think the impact of all of this would be? I mean, the expectation was that we would be coming to the end of the rate tightening cycle, but now it looks like that's not the case. How do you see the markets react to this?
So I think generally, Sonia, we are coming to the end of the kind of tightening cycle, both globally and locally. And I think from what I've seen of the RBI, they too seem to be kind of following the Fed. Now, listen, every country is going to have a different part of its inflation. Ours is more food and oil, and in the US it's more shelter. But I'm sure today we'll see some figures from the US, showing that inflation is continuing to trend downwards from where we were at the heights. So I think, everyone's baking in anyway 25 basis points for the US in March, unless data changes that. So, it wouldn't be surprising if we did another 25, but that's probably it. And I think that's what the market's been trying to grapple with in the last few months, in that you've seen markets move higher on the expectation that the Fed will go and hold, and that means that emerging market central banks also will go and hold, if not to be able to bring rates down a little bit quicker. So that's why we've seen the kind of big rally in tech stocks in the US. So I think that's boding well for the markets.
As Sonia said, the markets picked up. Andrew, hi, morning. Just coming to you. The Nifty is up, almost 80 points. But look at the market breadth, if you can have that up for our viewers. It's completely flipped. It was comfortably positive. And like yesterday, almost exactly, it's at the same time as well. 1,200 stocks are lower and 700 stocks are higher. So you can see that crossover which has happened. And lots of names. Look at something like all cargo. Reported numbers, of course. Numbers were, both revenues and earnings were lower year on year. 13% lower on all cargo. 352 is where that is. RHIM is another name. 14% lower. 645, 646. That is on very strong volumes. It doesn't come up with this kind of volumes, for this point in the day or ever, but, huge volumes. There is Spark, which is down about 5.5%. IRFC is down 3%. You look at something like a Supreme Industries, which only recently started to show some signs of life, but that is getting smacked down 3% or so. You have Root Mobile, which is down 3%. So, the list is kind of widening, broadening in terms of broader markets, mid caps, small caps, etc., where there is pressure, clearly, even as the Nifty is accelerated a little bit at the upside. Andrew, what kind of trades are you putting on? What are you buying? What are you selling? Not selling, as you call it, renting, right? Oh, no, sorry. That's on the other side. But what are you doing?
Yeah, getting evicted, which you want to say, but I think at the moment we're keeping it again very tight, because there's a lot of there's still the data volatility which is keeping markets the way they are, and obviously recent events over the Adani Group has kind of soured the kind of foreign investor interest to our markets and put that extra volatility at a time when really the budget was so good. I would have expected the markets to be a lot higher by now. So that's the kind of the positive that I'm thinking of. So I think we're still in this point of where we think if the Fed's stopping, you will get probably a mild recession and deflation at the same point. So the banking sector continues to be a theme that will play out on. And after the budget, obviously, some of the things we talked about before, Prashant, in terms of the capex cycle, we know defense and renewables are going to be there. We know the government will continue to look to kind of secure supply where there's security issues. So again, electronics and those types of industries, I think, will be a big theme to play. So, I think it's going to be a little bit of tale of two halves for us. The first half might be a little bit more challenging because FII flows, I think, will go to emerging markets other than India. But as our growth accelerates in the second half and earnings upgrades happen, I see FII flows coming back more strongly.
Okay. By the way, one space that has come back in a big way is the mid-cap IT space. Even this morning, Cyient is up almost about 3% KPIT Technologies has been sitting at new highs and is now up 10% in this month of February already. Persistent Systems is up about 2% LTI, Mindtree. So there's a lot of volume and price action here. Andrew, how are you feeling about mid-cap IT, and has the time come to nibble in?
I'd probably stick more to the large cap IT, only because I think you have to be a little bit nimble in terms of your strategy. If we're correct in saying that the Fed goes on hold, and that's what the market's been saying in terms of the tech stocks in the US, then that's a good tailwind. But obviously, it'll be a little bit data dependent in the short term, and therefore, I'd probably, going back to what Prashant was saying, I'd probably be renting the IT stocks at the moment for this move up until, we're very sure that inflation is on its way down and the Fed's on hold. Then I think the growth stocks and tech stocks will be back in flavor. And obviously the correlation between our IT industry and the tech industry is still quite high. So, you get that extra, the tailwind in terms of that in the very short term. But it's more of a shorter term play. In my view, to gain the kind of upward swings that you're going to see as investors going to get more comfortable with growth stocks again.
All right. Thanks very much, Andrew. Great speaking with you. Appreciate your time here. As always, quick chat. But thanks indeed. Well, Sonia, you're right. I mean, smaller IT, right? I think you mentioned Cyient, it's up 3%. Birla Soft, I can spot. And these are all decent volumes for this point in the day. Birla Soft is up about 1. LTTS is up 2. LTIM, that is LTI, Mindtree, is up about 1.25%. Persistent and KPIT are other names. So mid-cap, smaller tech, IT names is perhaps one area where you're seeing some traction, even though broader markets are not doing well. The Nifty is up 50 points now, so about 20-25 off the high point 5 minutes back. We'll take a quick break here, but we've got a couple of interesting corporate conversations coming up. We have Deepak Bakshi, CFO and whole-time director at Castrol India, joining in to discuss the third quarter performance. And later, we'll have VS Money, Executive